Hey, so I'm shooting a video and in walks Ronen. Right, Ronen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ronen walks in and right in the middle of the video, he says, hey, Brian, I got one for you. He throws this at me out of nowhere. He says, if I handed you the keys, I guess it would have to be maybe a set of keys, or if I handed you the push button to an electric truck and said, there, go to work right now. You've got an electric truck, go to work. How would that change your life? Well, you know what? Generally, I like to, kind of think about or get a little, foresight, a little bit of research at least on what I'm doing or the topic I'm talking about. This one here, we're gonna just go with it. How would an electric truck change my life? Or how would it either make my life as a truck driver, let's say, easier or harder? As much as I hate to waste time here, but I almost got to think about this while we're shooting the video. The first thing I would be excited about would be the fact that there is no engine. There's an electric motor. You guys thought you'd have me on that, eh? In this video, we're just going to quickly touch on, I think, the major 4 motors. There's no engine, there's no combustion engine, there's an electric motor, which means that I don't have to worry about fuel. I have a different type of fuel, that's batteries, and electricity is my fuel, if you want to talk about it like that. But I don't have to worry about diesel tanks. I don't have to worry about diesel. I don't have to worry about fuel pumps. I don't have to worry about probably the 200 or more components that I have on my truck now that I would not have on an electric truck. That's kind of cool, actually. If all I've got is an electric motor, and let's think about this. I've not really done a whole lot of research on these electric trucks yet. I know Ronen has, because they're kind of the company's looking down the road, and they have to be in this position. They have to look at the future of electric trucks because they're a fleet, and they've got to look at that. Myself personally, I haven't been there. I'm not a fleet. I'm just a small-time owner-operator. But to have an electric motor, okay, that's great. I guess on an electric truck, there's really not a whole lot of, say, components. You'd have your you'd have your batteries. Obviously, that's your fuel source. You'd have all of the support factors that you'd need, to keep your batteries, your housing, your wires, your harnessing, your harnesses. A lot of the maybe some of the electrical items, components might be able to cross over. You might have some of that, ECMs, chips, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, with an electric truck, you'd have all of that, as you do with like the combustion engine trucks. So you'd have batteries, you'd have the motor itself. The last time I looked at an electric motor, it was something about this size. It was for something else that a friend of mine was doing, but there's not really a whole lot to them. There's not when you think about the internals of a combustion engine where there's 3,000 parts. You've got an electric motor. It's pretty simple. It's pretty basic. There's not a lot. It's basically how they tweak it to do the job for the torque and the horsepower that they need with trucks. Basically they've taken the Tesla or the Nikola car engines, and they've just made them bigger, stronger, more durable, because they're going to be punished a lot harder than, say, a car engine would. But when you take all of that and you put it together in one package, you've still got, I would say, I wouldn't even, actually, you know what, I'm not going to say, because I wouldn't even have a number on it, like a fraction of what percent it is, how many less parts or whatever on an electric engine or motor compared to a combustion engine. But that would certainly make my life easier. I've got a whole lot less things to go wrong throughout my day. And when I say that, I'm talking as an owner-operator, because those are things that you're constantly thinking about. Oh, I might have a leak here. I might have to take care of this. I've got a fuel problem with this. I've got a DPF or an EGR issue with that. I've got this, I've got that. These are all problems that as small-time owner-operators that are on our minds all the time, because things like this are constantly going on around. You take an electric truck, you eliminate, I would probably say, about 80% of all of that. You've got wheels, you've got the batteries, you've got the motor. At some point or another, you've probably got some kind of differential that, you got to put that power to the ground somehow. So you're going to have a differential. And then other than that, you'd probably just have your cab, right? You'd have, your cab and your bunk and your whatever around you. Now, the electric trucks I have seen, and I'm going to say that I thought this was really kind of cool. The electric trucks that I have seen pictures of, or I saw one short clip video of, Who the hell was that guy? Elon Musk with the Tesla one. The truck, the seat is in the middle of the truck. Now tell me that's not cool. How cool is that? You get to sit in the middle of the truck. That means you've got open space over here, you got open space over here. You turn your seat, you get in the back of your truck, you come back. Like, I think that's kind of cool. Would it take a little, for me, a little getting used to? Obviously sitting in the middle of the truck. So you're sitting in the middle of you're looking down the middle of the lane. You're not over here. Would that take a little getting used to? Yeah, I think it would. But would I think it would be cool? Hell yeah. Would I do it? All day long. If Ronen handed me the keys, let's say keys again, for an electric truck, would I do it? Absolutely. In a heartbeat. I'd run it in a minute. Just for the fun of it. I was about to say he wouldn't even have to pay me, but yeah, he would. He'd have to pay me. I'm not doing that for free. But would I do it? Absolutely. Let's go. Somebody give me an electric truck. If you're out there with an electric truck, if you're Tesla and you've got one, you want it tested properly, give it to me. I'll run it for you. I'll get you your data. I'll get you whatever. I'll get it for you. Give it to me. Don't run it around the test track in Nuremberg. That ain't gonna do jack for you. Give it to me. I'll get you your information. I'll let you know whether you got a good truck or not. Would I take an electric truck? Yes. Would I be happy with it? Sure. Would it make my life easier? Absolutely. Now, you want to hear something that I would, actually, it's not a problem for me. It's going to be a problem for the industry. Let's just say we've got electric trucks. They're all running around. Now, we're going to use the Iowa 80, 900 truck spots. You can park 900 trucks in there, or at least that's what the sign says. I've never personally walked around and counted them all, but it says 900 trucks. Now, let's just say 2/3 of those are electric trucks, okay? So what are you at, about 650 trucks? Something like that? 650 trucks that are electric that got to get plugged in. Where the hell are you getting a power source to charge 650 trucks? I know for a fact in the area that I live in, like I live out in the, like I guess would be like the Kingston area, but I know for a fact that we're not allowed to have more than one electric car on every street. If there's more than one electric car, you can't own one. Why? Because the power grids can't handle it. Now, where are you gonna park 650 trucks and power and charge them all? Every truck stop would need its own miniature nuclear generating plant to generate that kind of power. Because if not, let's just use again the Iowa 80. If 650 trucks all plugged in to the Iowa 80 truck stop, you're gonna knock out the power grid in Wolcott, which is where the Iowa 80 is. And you'd probably knock out the power source in Des Moines, which is the nearest big metropolitan city, right? Or Davenport, sorry, not Des Moines, Davenport. You're gonna knock out the whole power grid. You cannot, so that is one of the problems that I would foresee. Would I take an electric truck? Yes. Would we have problems once the electric trucks are coming? So this is an area that other people way above my pay grade are having to think about. You guys are gonna have to figure out how to get the power grids and the infrastructure for the electric trucks. I'm sure these guys can build electric trucks and start rolling them off assembly line any day now. How are you gonna power them? Where are you getting the power from? And at what cost? I don't have any of those numbers. I don't have a clue what it costs to plug a truck in and charge it. I don't even know what it costs to plug a Tesla in or an electric car in to charge it. I don't know. I've never even looked at it. But at some point or another, there's gonna be a cost fixed to it, and that cost is gonna have to be passed on to somebody. And who's it gonna be? You and me, Jack, because we're buying them and we're running them and we're using them. So who's paying for that? So those will be different types of cost, operating cost. It won't be, cents per mile for diesel and parts like that. It'll be cents per mile per gigawatt. I don't know what. How do you power these things? That's what it's gonna be a whole different way and a whole new era of trucking. And we are going to have to adapt. We're gonna have to learn, and we're gonna have to improvise, or we're gonna die. That's simple as that, because you can't stop it, it's coming, right? The industry has not come this far with the electric truck to go, you know what, nah, not a good idea, let's go back to diesel. It's coming, there's nothing we can do about it. So you better start learning. Guys like me, better start learning. We better start paying attention. We better start thinking about the future. If you're gonna be in the game that long, by the time the electric truck comes and it's operational and running down the road and we're all doing it, I won't be driving. Guarantee you I won't be driving. But the generation after me, The younger guys that are right now in their late 20s, early 30s, you guys are the ones that are going to be dealing with this. You guys are going to be the ones that are going to be running these trucks. You guys are going to be the ones that are going to be paying for these trucks. So you might want to just, take a look at this. Do a little research. Follow it. It's a progression as the trucks are being built. They've started building them. They've already got them. Follow the research. Follow the run. Follow what their trucks and what they're doing with the trucks and the time schedule. For God's sakes, try to figure out and get as much information as you can about the time schedule with the infrastructure and when these things are going to be on the road, because it is going to affect you. Me, not so much, but the younger guys, yes. So here's a quick thing that, Ronen threw at me this morning. Luckily for you, I've had my coffee, so the brain was kind of working, and this is what you're getting. If there's anything else, or I'm sure there's stuff I've missed. So if there's anything I've missed that you think is relevant, hey, throw me a comment. I'd love to hear it, because this is a topic that at some point or another, I'm gonna have to start looking at. Even though I'm not gonna be in the game, it is fascinating and I am interested in it. So let's talk about this. Leave me a comment, good or bad, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me. If there's things that I've missed, put them in there. Let me see them. I want to read them, and I'll get back to you. Throw comments at Ronen. He's more versed in this than I am. He can probably give you a different perspective on it than I can, especially from sort of like a management or an ownership position. I'm just an owner operator. Ronen is management. They obviously have to look at a whole broader spectrum of things that I would have to look at. So throw your comments down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. We'll see you down the road.